ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another 1/6 scale custom figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at another figure from Rovanic Studio. It's their Night Lord V2, but it's the battle damaged version. So yeah, I am very excited to get this guy out here. This means that after the end of this video, I will have all 3 distinct looks from The Dark Knight Returns. Now I got mine direct from Rovanic Studio. It is a handmade custom figure, but it is technically still unlicensed. It's an unofficial release. If you do contact them, just bear that in mind. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here of course we have the box art, and it's done in the same style as the other 2 figures I've reviewed from Rovanic Studio. Rovanic Custom Studio up top, Night Lord, an image of battle damaged Batman front and center, and their contact info down below. The box is made from a relatively sturdy brown cardboard, and so far I haven't had any issues with breakage in transit. A Night Lord certificate of authenticity up top, and then down below, Batman himself. Now, this figure was actually the first thing I ever saw on Instagram that Rovanic Studio made, and it got me so very hype. And now, finally, I own my own copy. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces, and this time I kept it really simple. Literally just some swap out hands. Now you do get a certificate of authenticity with a live signature on the front, and I'm pretty sure that's an image of my figure. I don't think that's just a generic image of another one they've made. Now the hands themselves are very nicely detailed and accurate. They are asymmetrical, so you have exposed knuckles on one side and the other where the glove is fully complete. Now the texture and detail here is something that's not just painted on, but you can actually feel. It's tactile. The glossy blood does have this slick feeling to it, and the mud actually feels rough, like real mud. What we are going to do now though is get Batman himself out here and take a closer look. Here we have him, standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And it seems as though Rovanic Studio is going from strength to strength. I absolutely love the black suit version. The blue suit version I said could possibly be my favorite Batman figure in 1/6 scale. This guy might just take that title. I cannot get over how good this figure looks. The battle damage, the blood paint applications, the shading on the suit, the head sculpt, all of the new stuff here is just icing on the cake for an already perfect figure. What we are going to do now though is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him up close and personal, and you can tell this guy has been through hell, and I'm all for it. It's absolutely going to help him stand out in the display. Now, starting off with the head sculpt first, yeah, that's Frank Miller's design for Batman. The short ears, the squat proportions, and how low it sits on the neck, it ticks all of my boxes. You do have some scratches sculpted in, and this side of the cowl has actually been torn away. Plus, over the top of all of that, there's weathering and shading and some glossy, wet-looking blood. Now, there is a tone and texture mismatch between the cape and the cowl. The cowl is slightly darker, and it looks like it's supposed to be made out of leather. That's just what the sculpted in texture looks like to me. Whereas the cape is a nice, soft fabric. In this instance, I'm actually totally fine with the difference between the 2 pieces. If it bothers you though, then I totally understand. Now, it is a very soft material, and it does come all the way around the body. There is a ton of cape here. It also, though, because it is so thin, drapes perfectly over his shoulders. It does have some weathering along the edge all the way down to the bottom where it's completely disheveled. This makes perfect sense considering this version of the Caped Crusader. Now, I was worried about the battle damage sections and how it was going to line up with the suit. But it turns out there was no need to be worried. These sections are fused and stuck in place, so even though you are moving the joints around, it's not going to go anywhere. You also have the exposed seamless Phison body underneath, so it looks suitably realistic. Plus, multiple different tones for the blood. It's not just a super vibrant red, there is also some darker red where the blood has started to dry. Now, you do have multiple different areas where the suit has been torn away, and they do appear to be in all of the correct and accurate positions, including around the back underneath the cape. That is a very nice touch. They didn't just put them in random places, they actually put them where they're supposed to go. Now, the chest logo does have the gashes sculpted in, quite literally. The skin underneath has been torn. So I'm going to use that word again. It looks very realistic. You also have some shading for the abs, for the biceps, and down here for the legs. Now, the belt is made out of real leather. Plus, you do have some areas where the blood would have dripped down and hit the belt, and some weathering over the top of that. Plus, a real metal belt buckle, and yes, a bit of blood there as well. Now, the hands, as we discussed earlier, are asymmetrical. The exposed knuckles on one side, and then just a fully complete glove on the other. Plus, the weathering pass is different between either side, as well as the cracks and crevices that have been sculpted into the fins. These are actually chipped, so you can tell they're a slightly different sculpt between either side. Now, coming down to the legs, you do have this thigh pocket piece that you can completely remove. I would call it a holster, but they literally are mini pockets. Now, technically, based on the artwork, that's not supposed to be there, but I also kind of like the way it looks there. I haven't decided if I'm going to ditch that or not. Now, the fully exposed knee is completely filthy and covered in blood, plus the suit has been torn away. Then lastly, coming down to the boots, once again covered in blood and mud, and you can actually feel it. It's not just paint, there is some texture here. It feels like it's been sculpted in. And then underneath, it is filthy as well. Filthy, dirty, grimy, and battle damage. That's the best way I can describe this figure. Next up, here we have the clean version of the blue suit, and this was a match made in heaven. They look perfect standing together. I'm now going to be able to basically step you through all of the different bat suits in the display. From the black suit to this blue suit to the battle damage version, all the iconic looks are checked off. I am now hoping though that we get the armored bat suit and maybe Superman, Mutant Leader, and Carrie Kelly. But for now, these two are going to look great in the display. Next up, here we have the Sideshow Batman. And as you can see, even though he's slightly taller, he is way skinnier. Also, the suit is brand new and pristine versus the Rovanic Studio one with the muscle and ab shading plus all of the battle damage. It's going to be up to you to decide which look you prefer, but because the Rovanic one is the Dark Knight Returns suit and there is so much detail to look at, yeah, I can't help myself. I have to go with that one. Just going over articulation. Now, bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I am willing to go. Now, starting off with the head sculpt, it does look forward and back, swivel, and then pivot side to side. The arms will go up to there, they will go forward and back, butterfly joint at the shoulder that also hinges up and down, swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow that does get you past 90, plus a double ball peg for the wrist. The torso does crunch forward and back, swivel, and then pivot side to side. The legs go forward to there, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee that does go past 90. You do have a double ball peg down here for the ankle. although because the boot is one fixed piece, you're only going to get a swivel. Just wrapping up on the Rovanic Studio Nightlord battle damaged version. Now going into this, I was oh so excited. At the end of the video, it turns out for good reason. I do not know why I saved this guy till last. Maybe I can now say that I was saving best till last, but to be honest with you, I was kind of worried. I thought the paint was going to rub off the Fison body, I thought the outfit was going to fray because of all the rips and tears, and I thought when I posed him it was going to get out of position, so the blood on the body no longer matched the blood and battle damage on the suit. But they have solved every single one of those worries. They've fused the body to the suit so it doesn't get out of alignment, and they've made it so that the rips and tears will not fray. I don't know how they've done it, but they have, so a huge tick from me. I love the head sculpt, I love the paint applications, the bright blue for the cowl, which almost perfectly matches the boots, the trunks, and the cape. It definitely is going to help this guy stand out in the collection. At the end of the day though, you do have to absolutely love Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns to want to pick this guy up. One of the other two Batmen, yes, they make a lot more sense because they can be just a classic looking Batman. But this guy is very book specific. Now, I got mine directly from Rovanic Studio. Bear in mind, this is custom, it's handmade to your specifications, so that means it's an unlicensed, unofficial product. I have left the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is not a promotional video, this is a review on a figure I picked up for my own personal collection. While you are down in the description, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.